Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rachak Radash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing this word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is Amathia from Great Millstone, Dallas. I want to go into a quick lesson, Lord willing. This will be edifying to the elect of Israel. All right, and I want to go into we have to have that same mindset as Yahweh Shai, okay? Have to have that same mindset, okay? And in the scriptures, when you go into Matthew 10, I want to say it's around the 39th verse or whatsoever, it goes into how if, I'll just get it because we have to be ready to lose our lives here on this side in order to regain or to gain that life in the kingdom. And we know that everybody will be brought back in the kingdom, but you want to be a part of that first fruit, and that's what we are striving for, okay? All right, and this is Matthew 10 and 39. It says, he that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. All right, and it also goes into in Luke 12, all right, you lose your life on this side, which basically giving up this carnal mindset, giving up the ways of the world, you'll receive that eternal life. It's in Luke 12. So we have to arm ourselves to the same mindset of Yahweh Shai. Because when Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, was on the earth, all right, walking as a man, his mindset was always the kingdom of heaven. All right. His mindset was all set on the kingdom of heaven. And that brought forth hope to his disciples. It brought forth hope to his followers. And what is that hope? All right. That's that faith. Okay. You didn't see it physically, but when you spoke about it, you had that belief and that hope that these things was going to come to pass and we're going to receive that salvation, that deliverance. All right. To get out of out from under the foot of our enemies. Because this is not our rest, as it says in Micah 2 and 10, because it's sore polluted. All right? So we have to have the same mindset, okay, as Yahweh Shai. All right? So, because we're looking for what? That salvation, that deliverance. And I'm going to go ahead and get 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter 4 and verse 1. And you see at the top, it says, keep fervent in your love. I'm going to read it here. It says, I'm going to read it in KJV and the NLT. On the left, the KJV, it says, for as much then as Mashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffereth in the flesh has ceased from sin. All right. And then the NLT on the right, it says, so then, since Mashiach suffered physical pain, you must arm yourselves with the same attitude he had, to be ready to suffer too. For if you have suffered physical for Mashiach, you have finished with sin. You have finished with sin. All right. So we supposed to cease from sin. All right. Because that same mindset of Yahweh Shai, no matter what these ones were going to go through, because he knew he had to go through that physical pain. He knew what he had to go through with the 2/3 of his people rejecting him. He had followers, but then he had the ones that the wicked scribes and Pharisees hated him. All right. And then they put false accusations on him. They had set up people to come and lie on them to bring forth what? That persecution. All right. And we have to be spiritually ready to go through certain things in this world. And we're already suffering certain things. But like I say, things are going to pan out and it's going to pan out in our favor. But it is going to be times where they're going to come after us. And we have to have that mindset because the Lord is going to cover us and keep us, in his, like I say, in his bosom, But he told us in, what is that here? This is Mark 10 and verse 35. Okay? And I think the point is in 39. It says, and this is going into the sons of thunder, James and John. All right? And he was speaking with Yahweh Shai. They were speaking with Yahweh Shai. And it says, and James and John, the sons of Zebedee, come unto him, saying, Master, we would that thou shouldest do for us whatsoever we shall desire. So, you know what I'm saying? So they're, asking him, like, what will we receive, because we're going to be going through teaching, and we're going to be doing these things in your name, okay? All right, let's keep going. Verse 36, and he said unto them, what would ye that I should do for you? So what are your requests? What are you saying? Verse 37, they said unto him, grant unto us what we may sit on one on thy right hand, and the other on thy left hand, in thy glory. But Yahweh Shai said unto them, ye know not what ye ask. Can ye drink of the cup that I drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? All right. So basically, can you go through the suffering, all right, that I'm going to receive? Okay. Can you drink of this cup that I'm going to drink of? Because when you read over here in verse 1 of 1 Peter 4:1, I'm going to read that a little further, okay? It says, for as much as Mashiach has suffered for us in the flesh. You got to be ready to suffer, so arm yourself. Are you ready to be prepared to go through the suffering that I received? All right? Are you ready to have that? So you have to have the same mindset of being prepared for what you're about to go through. Okay? Let's see here. Verse 39, it says, and they said unto him, we can. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, ye shall indeed drink of the cup that I drink of, and with the baptism that I have baptized withal shall ye be baptized. So you're going to be going through this suffering. So he said that you're going to indeed go through this suffering. Okay? You're going to endure, you're going to go through these things, okay? So you are chosen, because like you say, many are called, but few are chosen. So the Lord, like I said, he said, basically, if you read verse 40, I'm going to read verse 40. I'm going to jump to the NLT. To the right over here, it says, but I have no right to say who will sit on my right hand or my left. Yahweh has prepared those places for the ones he has chosen. So he has chosen, because we were chosen from the foundation of the earth, Lord willing. I included, or Lord willing, we are a part of that number. Okay. But Yahweh Shai said that the Most High has already ordained and chosen the ones. But the thing is, he didn't know at the time, but when he went through these things, all right, he received and was granted what? Granted to receive us, okay? They are thine and thine are mine, because he had to go through these things. So we were chosen from the foundation of the earth, but we were chosen by Yahweh Shai once he walked this path to receive become that lamb, all right, it says in Revelation 5, if you get what I'm saying, okay? Matter of fact, John 17 and 2, it says, you know what? I'm going to start at verse 1. It says the high priestly prayer, because who is Yahweh Shai? He's the high priest, okay? It says, these words spake Yahweh Shai, and lifted up his eyes to heaven, and said, Father, okay, hour is come, glorify thy Son, that thy Son also may glorify thee, as thou hast given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life unto as many as thou hast given him. So he was granted the power over all flesh. So now the ones he's giving is the ones that's going to what? He says going to drink of that cup. The ones he's gonna give them, the ones that's gonna be set to have the same mindset of Yahweh Shah to go through these things that we're gonna have to endure. Okay, I'm gonna jump down. I'll read 3 and 4, and I'm gonna jump down because I want to get another one here. Get another verse that I was looking for. Verse 3, it says, "And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true power, and Mashiach, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, whom thou hast sent." So he was sent for the elect. Okay, he was sent for the elect, not for all of Israel this time. Okay. And how do we prove that? Where we in? First John. Let's go to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy 2 and verse 10. It says, "Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they might also obtain the salvation which is in Mashiach Yahweh Shah with eternal glory." All right. I'm going to read that to the right over here in the NLT. It says, "So I am willing to endure anything because we were chosen, I am willing to endure anything if it will bring salvation and eternal glory in Mashiach Yahweh Shah to those Yahweh has chosen." All right. So verse 4, it says, "I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou hast given me to do." So the Lord, he was given that glory, Yahweh Shah. So we were bought with a price, and that was the price of the blood of Yahweh Shah. Okay, Yahweh Shah blood, all right, was that payment for the elect to endure and receive that salvation. All right, verse 24, it says, "Father, I will that they also whom thou hast given me." So see, we were bought with a price, and the Lord, he received us, Yahweh Shah. He became that mediator. All right. "But with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which thou hast given me." Okay. "For thou lovest me before the foundation of the world." Okay. So we was bought with a price. And I want to go back to 1 Peter 4 and verse 2. It says, "That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh." All right. So we're supposed to cease from sin, and we're supposed to sin less. Because like I say, we're in a sinful world. The earth was given to the hands of the wicked. And we're going to, like I say, but we were chosen to go through these things, okay? As we read in 2 Timothy 2 and 10, the Lord said he was going to endure all things for the elect's sake. So we're here to endure all things to receive what? The kingdom of heaven. Revelations 21 and 1. It says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." Okay, so the first heaven and the first earth, okay, and this is what? According to the promise, okay, where it's going to be dwelling righteousness. He says that in 2 Peter 3, where it says, according to the promises, roughly paraphrasing, "Look for a new heaven and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness." This is where the dwelleth of the righteousness, okay? This is why we are here to proceed and continue to endure these things that are going to be brought forth to us for the deliverance, okay? For the deliverance out of this old earth, because this earth right here is becoming weaker through sin. So the Lord is going to come and set up a new place for us, okay? He's going to set up for the new earth. The earth needs new management, and the kingdom of heaven will be upon the earth. Verse 2, it says, "And I, John, saw the holy city of New Jerusalem coming down from Yahweh out of the heavens, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." Okay, from the powers, from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Okay, So we're the bride, and we're getting prepared for our husband, which is Yahweh Shai. So we supposed to continue in our faith, all right, to receive that glory. So we supposed to arm ourselves with that same mindset that Yahweh Shai was in, that spiritual mindset, okay? Because we are chosen from the foundation of the earth, and now we have to go through, like I said, a movie, all right? The movie was written, and now the movie is already, it's going now. It's being played out. So we're at the end of the movie. So we should get ready for that glory. Should get ready for the deliverance. But we do have to go through and walk through that straight gate, okay? As it says in Matthew 7, okay? And I'll end off with that. Okay, it says, yes, Matthew 7:13, it said, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few that be that find it. So it's just a few, okay? So it's going to be a few that's going to find it, okay? So it's going to be a few that's going to go through that straight gate, because the other ones want to go through that broad way that's leading to destruction. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rahak Radash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yakin, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.